Welcome back to Biktrix on YouTube. I'm so excited. Oh my gosh, you don't even know how excited I am for this one. This will be one of our first video backs after like a break, but like we planned a big one to kick off this season. With me today is Josh. You've met him before, but hey, please reintroduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm Josh Grasby. I'm kind of the lead designer with the XD and engineering here at Biktrix, and also DefCat online. If you've been on any of the community sites, I'm usually on a few of them, so yeah.
He can be found, he can be found. And a little spoiler alert in there, you just mentioned what we're gonna be talking about. Oh, we are gonna be talking about this pretty little thing right in front of us here, the Juggernaut XD. Oh my gosh. If you haven't seen the promo, like the launch video for this bike, you need to go watch it. In fact, why don't we do that right now?
Introducing the most powerful and durable electric bike we've ever made. This is the Biktrix XD. Featuring our revolutionary dual-drive powertrain, the XD was designed to push the limits of what an e-bike can do. Boasting a massive 2,000-watt motor with over 300 Newton-meters of torque, the XD sits safely at the top of the food chain. Just watch what happens when it goes head-to-head against what used to be the most powerful motor out there. On my right is an e-bike equipped with the reigning high-performance king, a 1,000-watt Bafang Ultra motor. On my left is the Biktrix XD. Okay, so it wins in a straight line, but how about a hill? What about a big hill like this one? You know, if walking up this hill is this hard, I don't know how any bike is gonna do. This time, we've got 3 competitors. First up, a regular pedal bike, then the 1,000-watt Bafang Ultra e-bike, and of course, the XD. We decided to give these guys a bit of a head start, you know, to be fair. By now it should be clear that this bike is like nothing else out there. But let's talk about why. Traditional mid-drives use standard bicycle components to transfer power from the motor to the back wheel. It's the same sprockets, chains, and cassettes that you'd find on any old pedal bike. These components do fine in a situation like that, where an experienced cyclist might produce 500 watts. But add a 1,000-watt motor, and now you've got 1,500 watts going through the same powertrain. That's why you get stretched and broken chains, stripped cassettes, and all kinds of other reliability issues that keep you in the shop and off the trails. With the XD system, we let the pedal bike components handle exactly what they were made for. pedaling. And on the other side, we've got a beefy 219 chain and heavy-duty custom sprockets that take 2,000 watts of power from the motor to the back wheel, increasing both performance and reliability. To demonstrate just how durable this drivetrain is, we're going to task the XD system with something completely unreasonable. You know, usually if I'm going to haul a trailer, I use a truck like this. But today, I've been told I'm in the mood for a bike ride. I think that this is one of those times where you really don't have to tell anybody, don't do this at home, you know? I mean, this trailer is like 1,750 pounds. And the fact that it could tow it without breaking in half is astonishing, honestly. I was sure we were gonna find the failure mode of this whole thing today, and I don't know, I'm not sure if we are actually gonna find it. Like, when is this gonna break? Where is this gonna break? Or am I what's gonna break? Whoa, there she goes. Whoa. All right. I don't really think it's good to be good at this. You know, any normal mid-drive bike, it would snap the chain before this test even got started. But I haven't heard a single snap or pop or any bad signs coming from our XD drive. It's just handling this beautifully. I don't want to say this is working, but the drivetrain is working, that's for sure. Our goal with the XD system was to improve both performance and reliability beyond anything available in the market today. And I'd say with the hill climb and then that trailer pull, we've done just that. If you're interested in this XD system, contact our customer experience department. They'll get you started.
Holy, oh my goodness, Josh. Josh.
It's so awesome.
Josh. It is so good.
Oh,
did you guys love it? Let me know in the comments. I mean, I'm so stoked on this, and like I've gotten to see you guys kind of work on it.
Yeah.
I got to test ride a prototype last year, but like just seeing it in action in that video, like
Yeah, it's been a blast.
I'm so amped for this bike. So like, let's dig in.
Yeah,
Josh,
absolutely.
The
Yeah.
XD.
Yeah.
What is it? What are we looking at? When can I have one?
Okay, so yeah, the XD is essentially the drivetrain on these new Juggernauts, which of course. We've taken the motor power over to its own chain, and the reason that we did that, there's a few reasons. The main one is that the motor, the actual assist powertrain can be really optimized this way. It doesn't have to kind of, you know, kind of be adapted to the cyclist cadence or any of that stuff. So we can go right to the rear wheel. It's really efficient that way. And then the other biggest part, like by far, is the reliability of doing it that way. We can shoot for a very long service interval. We can be, you know, assured that the parts are not going to break. It's not going to fall off the bike, and then the pedal powertrain as a result gets to be all regular parts, which is great.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, that all sounds so good. And if you don't already speak e-bike, that's okay.
Yep.
We can help you out. There's a lot of resources online, and I know we kind of just did a big info dump right there. So we're gonna kind of break it down and talk about a few different pieces.
Yep.
So number one, you're only gonna find this at Biktrix.
Right, yeah. I mean, especially with a relatively conventional frame and the Dorado style batteries, which of course gives you a lot of choices for batteries. A lot of people already have these batteries. So there's a lot of options there for batteries. And yeah, the frames are, you know, simpler rather than like, it's not like a totally custom full suspension frame. And it is actually made in North America now. So, I mean, this entire bike and all the stuff on it, like we're making it here. So
that's awesome. And so that's the key point right there. We're making it here, and you're only going to find it in Biktrix.
Yep.
Now, if you remember right off the top before we watched that super sweet video, Dylan and that coffee before the before the hill ride. I love it so much. But
my favorite part was the spokes during towing.
Oh, there's so many good little bits.
The moment I saw that, I was just like, tears in my eyes. This is beautiful, amazing to catch stuff like that. And
Rylan, who's the head of R&D, saying, I'm told I want to go for a bike ride. Love it. So good. So good. I hope you guys love it. But as we mentioned off the top, or as you mentioned, you are one of the lead guys in R&D, research and development, and we build these here. You guys researched and developed this. Like this is the Biktrix, like this is your baby.
Oh yeah. It's our 24-month-old baby. Yeah.
It's almost a toddler.
Yeah, it is.
It's an exciting time, and it's almost ready to be released into the world. So right now we have a pre-order first dibs kind of setup going on the XD website. You go in there, click through. You can pay your $50 to be in line to purchase one of these down the road. That site has a ton of information. This video is going to be on there. There'll be FAQs, talks about specs. Now, just a little caveat, a lot of this is still kind of in development and evolving.
Absolutely. So, always improving. So.
Always improving and evolving. So keep an eye on that space. Things will update as things become more firm. That's the best place for the information. If you pay your $50, you are in line to get one. We will let you know when they're ready. All the pricing's on that site. Be offered in order of who called dibs. And there is a limit, like there's a cap on how many dibs were taken. How many calls
for reservations. And I believe we're going to be giving additional information about the bikes to the reservation holders.
Yeah, those reservation holders might get some fun little sneak peeks in their emails. So sign up if you really want one of these. I'm like, I really want one of these. So just off the top, how does this XD motor compare or differ from, say, like our usual offering, the Bafang Ultra motor, the M620 that you see in a lot of our bikes? Yeah,
so the Bafang Ultra, of course, it's quite a mature product now, and that, I mean that in a very good way. It's a great motor, but it again, all of its power is being transferred through one chain. The entire internal configuration of that motor is actually optimized for that, which means that they've actually had to make some compromises in terms of essentially how it can deliver power simply. So there's stuff in there that can break, and the chain can break, and of course everything in the drivetrain will wear out eventually, quite rapidly. Within a year, usually you'll notice a lot of stuff.
Especially if you're riding it a lot and maybe not doing your maintenance.
Yeah, exactly. If you do your maintenance and you replace parts, it's fine.
I have one of those, so don't scare me. I love
mine.
I
love mine too.
Fantastic.
I've taken mine apart like 3 times though, so I'm not gonna lie.
I haven't taken mine apart yet.
my drivetrain apart so many times.
But you are also the R&D guy. I am just a regular rider.
I push the alter to
So when we say something takes into account the cadence of the rider, that's how the person is pedaling, so how you're turning.
The speed of your feet moving, basically.
So this kind of takes that out of the equation a little bit.
It separates it.
There's 2 chains on this bike, Josh.
Yeah, there's actually 2 chains.
2 chains.
And they could be belts, that could happen too.
Not at this time.
No, this is simpler.
So why do we have 2 chains? What's the advantage to having a setup like this where we have our regular derailleur system on the one side and then this fantastic new XD drivetrain situation on the other side?
Right, yeah. So having a chain that's essentially picked for this kind of power level, and actually that's actually picked for about twice this power level. So we're running this chain very kind of lightly for what it's capable of, which is part of why it's gonna basically last forever. The choice of sprockets as well, the reduction ratio, all of it's been carefully optimized over many iterations to actually prove out exactly what is the kind of sweet spot. So we anticipate that nobody should ever have to change those sprockets because the ratio's good on the XD side. And then on the other side, it's all bike stuff.
Regular bike stuff.
You could do almost anything. You can single speed it. You can run any kind of a derailleur, long cage, SRAM Eagle 12-speed if you want to. And you can go the other way. In theory, if somebody had a 190 millimeter through axle internal gear hub, you could put that in there too. So
we get asked about those a lot. Now, just a note on those things, because it's a lot of you could do this.
Right.
Keyword being you.
Yeah.
What we offer it with at the start is going to be what we offer it. That's like we said at the top, things are still developing, so
Yep.
there may be different options. But as of this conversation in February 2022, this is what we're starting
Absolutely.
with. But it is really cool that if you're kind of a DIYer, it might mess with your warranty, but like, hey, it's your bike. Do what you like.
And
you might have some options.
we're super happy with the group set that we're putting on there. We're actually putting a box clutched derailleur along with a 8-speed cassette. These have been we've proven these things out. They work great, and they look nice, and they're perfect. This is going to last forever on the pedal side without that motor power going through it. Like it's just going to, it'll last like any normal bike would, which is quite a long time. So
that's awesome. And now when you say prove out, I know we've have a couple of our like early complete, maybe kind of prototype, but like early adopter models that we've sent out with some local folks.
Yes. Yep.
And I'm told they have like over 10K combined.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of kilometers now.
All season riding. So like we're talking Saskatchewan winters -40 kind of situation.
Yes, the oldest XD, I rode it through last winter, not this winter, and it's been riding ever since then. So, and that bike still has original everything on it, and it's fine, of course, because it was designed to last. And that was early iterations. We have made even further improvements since then. So
that's awesome.
Yep.
So if you are somebody who rides hard, rides fast, rides through
just
fun terrain every day,
yep.
If you're riding through snow and ice and all whatever, have an adventure. This is built for adventure.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I love adventures. All right, so now we're talking about how hard and fast you can ride this bike, and things that should last forever.
Yep.
With the caveat that forever on bikes is technically a lifespan, just depending on how you use it.
Right.
A lot of folks are going to ask, but what's the warranty? Same as our regular warranty.
Right, absolutely.
On any of our other bikes. So you can check the terms of service on our website for the small print on what that is. That's basically like a year on pretty much all the components against manufacturing defects, limited lifetime on the frame, again, against manufacturing defects.
Absolutely.
So we got you covered on that front. On the topic of maintenance, how often can my local bike shop do it?
Right. In this case, absolutely. In fact, that's about all it's ever going to need is basic bike shop maintenance, or go watch some Park Tool videos and maintain your bicycle chain, and just basic lubing once in a while, wipe some gunk off. The other side requires vastly less maintenance. We're probably going to have like a recommended a motorcycle chain lube for that, for guys who want to like lube it up, because I would recommend lubing it up a few times a year or something, depending on how often you ride it, really.
Yeah.
So,
and one of the beauty parts to us doing these like in-house is we're going to make all of those videos, all of those
Absolutely.
manuals
Yep.
in-house, and have them
every kind of guide,
knock on wood,
including taking
ready
the rear
to
wheel
launch.
off.
Yes, that's
Yep.
going to be a thing. Ready to launch when this bike is ready to ship. So if you're a DIY person who does their own maintenance,
Yep.
we'll have some reference. Shoot us an email. Our team is here to help. So that is super exciting. I love when we have new tech that doesn't necessarily require a ton of new skills.
Exactly.
Excellent.
Yeah, and
Love it.
even taking the rear wheel off, it's actually quite easy. You just
Once
follow
you know
like
what you're doing,
3 or 4
right?
steps, it's done. It's so quick.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Love that. All right, so I'm seeing this gorgeous frame in this beautiful white. In terms of colors to be determined, will be announced. However, a little birdie named Roshan told me that we are also planning to offer some custom colors and powder coating, which if you've been in the Biktrix verse for a while, we did that recently
Yep.
with our FS Pro. And good gravy, did we get some beauties out of that. So I'm excited to see what folks will choose then. That'll be an option for those who are purchasing down the line. So that's exciting. Now this frame is a hardtail, and
Yes.
I've already gotten several questions about, what about an FS? What about a step through? Can I have a dual battery? Can I have it as a commuter? What are our options?
Yes. Honestly, anything is possible, and FS is one of those things it's on the development forecast for sure, because people want it. So, and we want to do it too. We just kind of wanted to stick with simplicity first, because it's
so for those first
good.
run, like this is literally kind of like early adopters. You're getting in on the first run of these. So some options might be a little more limited than, you know, 2 years from now. Like that's just how it goes. But this first batch we are planning to do as this hardtail kind of setup. That's not to say we can't or won't do something later. I could definitely see us doing some other stuff later. Just no timelines on that just yet. But, you know, keep an eye out. On that same topic, I've also had a lot of folks email say, hey, I already have an Ultra Duo. I already have an Ultra FS. Can this be retrofitted? Can I get it as a kit?
Yeah, it's probably unlikely for a little bit, just due to the logistics of making motors and building bikes. So we'll build the bikes and
So for now, complete bikes only, which great, you're going to want a complete bike. So
absolutely,
then it's all put together.
It's put together right, and it's going to be
exciting. Do we know what kind of frame sizes we're looking at for the first batch?
Yes, we've definitely got the medium frames and large frames.
Medium being about a 17-inch frame.
I believe so,
and large is usually a 19-inch.
Yeah, I think so.
Frame.
That's right. Yeah.
We'll have those specs on the site once they're finalized. So if they change from what I said, you knew I was going to say they might change.
Likely more
but that's
frame
about
options
what
to
we're
come.
looking at.
Yeah.
Perfect. What kind of range are we looking at? What's the stock battery? This, I noticed, is our big beefy 48 volt, 25 amp hour standard. That's so much battery.
Oh, it's beauty.
Is this what's coming standard?
I believe so. It's kind of the, you know, like we just got these batteries. We've been testing them. They're great, and we're probably going to be pushing these batteries with the bike because it's a great pairing. And as far as actual range goes, it's comparable to an Ultra. It might actually be better than Ultra. So,
and again, that's going to depend on the rider and how they use it.
It
Physics
totally
is still
depends
a thing.
on the weather, the rider, the wind, all the usual, the usual
up a hill,
stuff. Oh yeah,
all that kind of good stuff.
If you live in the mountains, you know, your range might be impacted in a negative fashion.
Yeah,
so.
and again, that's something we'll have on the specs, and as those details firm up, like what for sure is going to be the stock battery, will be on those specs prior to that email going out for those people to like put their purchase in. A lot of folks are asking about the legalities because like we know the Ultra FS has a 1,000-watt motor, often peaks over 1,200 watts.
Yep.
This is bigger.
A little bit, yeah, about double.
About double, just a little bit.
Just double.
Just double.
But,
so we're looking at like 2,000 watts?
Yes, but essentially that's probably only going to get used by people that are using it for kind of off-road, rural, on the farm, the backcountry kind of stuff.
Places you're allowed to use them.
Yes, exactly.
The key is like personal responsibility when it comes to legalities.
Good behavior and responsibility, yes.
A lot of places have different rules. The ones in Canada are different than the ones in the United States are different than the ones in Europe. So please check with your local governing bodies and the places you intend to ride to find out what your local rules are. Some are 500 watts, some have a speed thing, some have a throttle thing. And this can kind of be adjusted.
We can configure it. We can configure it to match any classification.
Beauty. So we could take that throttle off.
Yes.
Maybe.
Not on the off-road edition. You need the throttle.
Okay, on the off-road edition, so maybe we'll just leave that throttle alone. But you can adjust the speed limit. Like, so
the speed limit, the power limit. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so there are some room to make it work better within legalities. But again, as long as you are following the rules, not stunting or being a big jerk on the road, most people won't even notice.
Be a good human, basically.
Be a good human. That's a good rule of thumb. So again, just check with your local jurisdiction. Okay, can you explain the advantages of having this system versus the additional weight compared to like an Ultra? I know that's a little techy, but people want to know.
To be perfectly honest, there's not a lot of extra weight. We kept the system quite competitive in terms of weight, actually.
Yeah, it's like 75-ish pounds with the battery in it?
Oh, I think less than that, actually.
Nice.
I think it's about 60 pounds without a battery.
Okay.
With the biggest battery, that's going to put you up around 72, 73 pounds.
Sweet.
With a lighter battery, like say like a 17 amp hour, you're going to be under 70 pounds.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so then you're still getting great power per weight ratio.
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
And a bit of an advantage over like if this same setup had an Ultra.
Oh yeah, way more power to weight. Yeah,
cool.
Absolutely. Because like some of our Ultra bikes weigh this much anyway. So in fact, I think on average they're about this weight. So
fantastic. Have you noticed any issues with the dual chain setup? Like if one of the chains comes loose or breaks?
So it's the power chain essentially won't ever break. I don't think it's possible. We tried so hard. to brake it riding. It's impossible. Because it has a dynamic tensioner on it, it can't come loose either. So skipping the chain, derailing the chain, none of these things are really possible in practical riding.
On the XD side.
Yeah, on the XD side. On the other side, as long as the drivetrain is set up right,
aligned and you're shifting
preferably,
nicely.
you know, it's an experienced bicycle mechanic, or you know, it's going to come from us that way. So that's good.
Yep.
That will perform basically as it typically would, which is very good as long as you have a clutch derailleur like we're putting on them. Really helps a lot. So.
Excellent. Yeah. That's fantastic, because I know a lot of folks, one of the more kind of common concerns we see with mid-drive motors in general is that they're chain eaters. They're going to break a chain. Hub drives are the way to go. They don't eat chains. You can still get home. We've heard it all.
Yeah.
And like on things like the Ultra or even the BBS 02, the BBS HD, the other mid-drives, that technology has come a long way. They have the thing that when you shift gears, it pauses the motor, the gear sensor. That's the thing.
Or shift sensor, yeah.
All those fun things to help reduce that chain breakage.
They do, but they also interrupt the power.
They do.
This one doesn't ever have interruptions in the power. You can shift the gears all day long as much as you want. The power can keep going to the rear wheel, so your assist power is uninterrupted.
That's fantastic.
It's totally sweet.
Okay, say I'm riding this down a super sweet hill and I beef it, heavens forbid, and I somehow managed to break my regular bike chain. Can I still get home on the XD side?
Absolutely, yes.
I love it, because a lot of folks, that's the advantage to having a hub drive, is if your chain
hub motors
breaks,
have the same
you
advantage
can just go.
of the redundancy. If the one system fails, the pedal, you know, something that goes wrong over there, you hit your derailleur and it goes flying into the bushes. Hopefully it doesn't happen. At least you can use your assist power to get you home.
And on this one, you can use the XD side to get home. Now, on the subject of assist power and torque sensors versus cadence sensors, what are we looking at in the first batch?
So the first batch, the off-road edition, they will be throttle only.
Okay.
Keep it simple. But we are absolutely developing a very, very nice pass system. And it is a torque and cadence high-resolution system that is plug and play with the bike right away. It already has a mounting and it plugs right into the board. It's already got a spot for it. So.
Fantastic. So if I buy Gen 1 out of the box, doesn't have an assist on it, when I'm pedaling and not using my throttle, I'm just pedaling a regular bike.
Right, yes.
And then if I use my throttle, that's how I can regulate how much help the motor is giving me.
Yep. There's actually power levels as well on the display. So that will actually limit how much power like your throttle puts out. So I think we've got 3 levels on there, and you'll be able to then, if you put it to like level 1, it's only going to be about 33% of whatever your max power is.
So it's almost like a manual pass system.
Kind of, yeah, exactly.
Bit.
Yeah, it's like,
that's really cool.
It's kind of like a progressive throttle.
Shift.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Kind of like a stick shift.
Yeah, and the you know, like if you're in the lowest setting, it's going to have more accuracy, and if you're higher up, it's going to have more sensitivity. So
sweet.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. So I buy Gen 1. It has this setup. We released the sensor, the torque sensor, the pass thing. You said it's plug and play. Would it be plug and play on my Gen 1 if I bought it later?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So it's to come later out of the box. First gen probably won't be there, but should be able to get
Although
it later.
by summer,
who knows? We still have, it feels like a long time, but it also feels like tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like it's so close yet so far. What is time, honestly? You never know. Yeah. All right. So here's a big beefy question, and I know you did answer this on one of the forums because this is where I took it from. Since it's running on a fixed gear ratio, okay, why mount the motor in the middle of the hub, in the middle at all? Hub motors deliver a fixed gear ratio with greater mechanical simplicity. Is it a weight thing? Do you need a mid-drive to get torque sensing? Does this even have? We already talked about that. And why does the motor drive line use a train and not a belt?
Right, okay, those are both good questions in there. So the main reason that the motor's in the middle is absolutely for weight distribution. It's to keep everything centralized in one unit, and that unit does have kind of separate parts that are modular, but everything's in the middle. The rear end stuff is very simple. There's almost nothing there that's unusual. It's all conventional parts in the rear wheel other than one adapter.
Setup, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's a magical adapter in there. But otherwise, everything is in the middle of the bike, and so all the weight is there, the entire system's there, and then as for the belt, like a belt drive versus chain drive, we went with a chain drive because it's actually, I mean, a belt drive is only people have the conception that it's more reliable, but it's no more or less reliable than a good chain drive. It can be quieter, and there's no lubricant. So those are nice things, but there's also downsides to belts.
Belts
For example,
can stretch.
Well, belts do stretch, yes, yeah. So you have to be able to set a good tension on them. If you get an obstruction jammed, like pulled into the belt, they're tooth belts, so you can damage the teeth on the belt. A belt can be damaged whereas a chain you really can't damage.
Harder.
Not this chain. If you put a stick through this thing and let it jam up a stick, it's just going to chew the stick off, probably.
Now I can just picture the meme of the guy on the bike that just does this.
Yeah, he's going to need a way bigger stick. Yeah,
need a way bigger
that meme's
stick.
not going to fly with this bike. Yeah.
But memes.
yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah, the belt though is that's something that we will address in the future, because some people are going to want to look at a belt drive alternative. I would say it increases cost because the pulleys are a little bit more expensive.
Yeah, there's a lot more to it.
And the belts themselves as well, and they're kind of fixed lengths. So it's not like a belt. It's not like a chain where you can change the length and quickly swap it out. Like,
I have videos on that if you need to know how to do that.
There are so
Check
many
YouTube.
perks to the chain.
Yeah, and so that is also something we get asked all the time. When are you guys making belt drive? It's not really priority right now. We're pretty happy with the chain systems we've
Absolutely.
got. We've come up with this fantastic new chain system. Like I said, I got to ride it last year. So much fun. Oh my God, they just rip. It was great. Another question I've had a lot, and this is more a question for me than anybody else, is do we ship internationally? Mostly. There are some countries we cannot ship to. We've learned that just by trial and error. So if you are outside of Canada, the US, or the UK, those ones we know we can ship to nicely, just reach out to our customer service team. We will double check for you and find out. Just as a note, with international shipping, our shipping fees do not include things like taxes, import fees, duty costs, brokerage fees, any of that. So do some research, but we're also here to help. And again, check with your local rules, because some of the ones in Europe are pretty strict.
Yeah.
So internationally, I'd love to see these just kind of ripping all over the world.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It'd be so cool.
Yep.
So many adventures. All right. Do you have some more cool parts?
Sure. Actually, yeah. I actually brought the electronics assembly, because we haven't really showed this off too much. It's tucked inside the bike, but essentially, like what we've got here, this is our own custom board with a controller, waterproof connections, power connections come on here and can be tapped out to different systems.
Most importantly,
these are all for accessories.
It smiles at you.
Yes, it does, in a kind of like Shrek-like kind of fashion. Yeah.
A little bit of flair.
Yeah, and then this is a ASI. This is a Canadian company, and that is our actual programmable motor controller. And
programmable how?
Only we can program it right now.
Only we can program it right now. Right now?
Right now.
What do you mean later?
Maybe.
Yeah. More info as that becomes available.
The coolest would be if we had like a mobile app or something.
That'd be really neat, wouldn't it?
That would be really neat.
So cool.
Yeah. So that's basically the entire electronics into one unified assembly, which makes it so easy for us to, like, as we're developing these things, we can swap things out, the entire unit. So
cool. And again, something we build here.
Oh yeah, all of it. Yeah. Those metals are bent like an hour out of town. The PCBs are assembled here. They're conformally coated here. They're tested here. All this stuff gets done in-house.
So we're bringing a lot of manufacturing.
Oh yes.
Back to
right in-house.
North America. Like, not even just North America. Right here in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan.
Yes. Yeah.
That is.
Yeah, we've got a lot of
cool.
different companies in Saskatoon working with us as well. There's machine shops manufacturing different parts. There's guys cutting, like laser cutting and bending metal and welding, and we're doing anodizing in-house. We're doing like all these things as much as we can right here.
So cool to see us just scale these things up, and I've been so privileged to watch us do it. It's so great. My office is like right here, and theirs is like right there, so I get to like see all the fun things happening. It's like even our powder coating is done by a local guy.
They're right down the street.
Like just down the street. So I love that. A lot of folks always ask, especially when we were having shipping delays with the last 2 years.
Well, that's what spurred all this.
Yeah.
The whole, pandemic and disruption of like global logistics, disruption of electronics and microchip supply. Like,
yeah, necessity breeds innovation.
That's why we're here. Yeah, absolutely it does. Yes.
That's fantastic. And so for all those folks who are like, well, just bring it back. We brought it back.
Yeah, we're doing it.
Doing it.
Doing
this is awesome. I'm so stoked. All right, what else you got? Any more fun little bits and pieces to show me?
Absolutely, yeah. Here, I've actually got I've got the, obviously this is a rear hub from the bike.
Fantastic.
And this is the chain. Maybe you want to hold that guy. That's the power chain for the assist power. So we've got our box cassette here. We've got our 220 millimeter rotor. This is a SRAM/Avid centerline rotor. They're very quiet and they're very nice. That is the 70-tooth rear power sprocket.
So that's the XD sprocket.
Yep.
This is our regular bike sprocket.
Exactly.
And this is a giant brake rotor.
Yeah, and that's out of design necessity, so we can have a brake and a power sprocket right next to each other.
So that rear setup will always have like a nice beefy, like big brake rotor.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and we have not found any issues whatsoever with like lube getting onto here. None, because we're using a tacky chain lube made for motorcycle
it's a special one. That's just one of the reasons you specifically have it set up the way that it's set up.
Exactly, yeah.
That's not to say you shouldn't be careful when applying your lube, but we've thought of things.
Absolutely, yeah. And then inside this is a totally normal
just a regular hub.
Totally normal hub. We've gotten away with it by some magic over here. That's
I recognize some of this magic.
Elementary, so yeah, it's bolts and an adapter.
Specifically, this little star.
Yes, yeah.
I definitely made some Christmas ornaments out of the ones that weren't up to par.
Yep.
Little glitter and a ribbon.
And those star adapters, those were designed using FEA, like finite element analysis in CAD, so they could be as light as possible and be super strong. So.
This is
a lot
awesome.
of ingenuity into a lot of these little things. They're very simple, but they've been highly optimized. Yeah, absolutely, we do. Yeah, we got a great team on this. So
fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's of course. Oh, perfect. You got that.
Yeah. So this is a lot thicker than your regular chain. This looks awfully lot like something I might see on maybe like a go-kart or something?
Yes, that's what they're primarily used for, is racing carts. Yeah.
Sweet.
That's where this chain became the industry standard, and it's thereafter has made its way into actually quite a few different types of electric e-bike developments and such, because it's a pretty good, it's actually a perfect amount of kind of strength versus how much it weighs. It's not that heavy. So.
No, it's really not. Like, I don't feel like it's too much heavier than a regular bike chain.
Right, yeah.
And if you, like you said earlier, they're pretty impossible to break, but like, nothing's truly impossible. If you do somehow manage to bust it,
I don't know how
uncommon
it could be done, but it's,
somebody will figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if somebody like tries to modify it or something, or I don't know, they drop a zip cut on it and then it grinds a slot.
Somebody will find some way, but they are not like specific to us. You can find them.
Yeah, these are places. You can get them in many countries, quite widely available. 219 chain, and as well that rear sprocket on there. That's a totally conventional 219 sprocket, 6-bolt, one piece.
Plus, it's really fun to play with. I might need one just for my desk. All right, so we've kind of gone over our shifting situation with the bike. It's a regular one, but it's a really cool shifting derailleur system. We've got this fantastic XD side of the motor with this fancy new chain. Now, I know there's probably going to be something a little fun with the crank arms. A little different, I should say. Right,
yeah. We're using a short crank arms because we discovered through in the last few years that basically every mid-drive bike benefits from having shorter cranks. You don't really notice any difference, except that you strike your pedals less when you're cornering. When you're on the trail, you strike them less. And because you have the assist power, you don't need that extra leverage. Like that leverage, the 170 to 175 millimeter, is kind of something that, like acoustic regular bicycles have just been using forever, so everybody assumes that that's right, but actually the e-bikes don't really need that. So we've gone to 155 mil on these, which we find is a really good kind of sweet spot for most average, even taller riders will have no issue with this crank arm.
Us tall riders.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Yeah.
I love it. I'm so stoked. So this beautiful one we have in front of us does have the red rims and the red crank arms. before you email to ask, are those coming with it? It will depend on stock availability.
Always. Yeah.
Always. And like we mentioned, like this is kind of a prototype, kind of early production model still, this beauty.
Sure, yeah.
So some things might vary slightly to our final production models that are going to be coming out summer 2022. All right, anything else we need to cover? Everything seems pretty standard otherwise.
Yeah, I think you kind of got it all. Oh yeah, the display will be 500C.
The 500C display.
And
So
then that's also subject to change,
We'll
but
start.
that one definitely works. So yeah.
perfect. And that one is really popular because everything is kind of all in one
Yeah,
spot.
it's not like taking up space in the middle where you might want to put your
Yeah,
phone
your
or a
phone
camera
here.
or some other headlight. Although they will be coming
Headlight.
with they will be coming with the Armageddon headlights.
The first gens.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a good one. I have that on my bike.
Yeah,
Love it, especially
it's
in the fall when you're
very,
riding
very,
home from work.
very
and
nice.
It's 5 o'clock and dark already.
Yeah, or
So
on the
good.
trails, or you know,
Yeah.
if you're out at night in the winter, like yes, have a headlight.
Fantastic. Safety first.
Yeah.
Wear your helmet.
Yeah.
Turn on your light.
Stay safe and be a good human.
Be a good human. All right, Josh, I think we've covered everything. If there's something we didn't cover and you just need to know, check that XD website. We're going to be updating that as things are finalized, as things are developed and come out. Go ahead and ask. I believe we're planning to put like a forum kind of situation on there for you to ask those questions. You can check in with our regular support channels and our regular contact us pages. Please note that our internal team really isn't going to have much more information for you than what's on that website. But if you have something that you haven't seen asked and it's pressing, let us know. We'll figure it out. We'll do our best for you. Just like R&D has been doing their best on this bike. You guys have done such fantastic work.
I'm glad everybody likes it. Yeah.
So excited to like get these out in the wild and have people out riding them, because like this is, to me, a big innovation and a huge leap in e-bike technology, I think.
Yeah.
And I'm so stoked to see what we do next and what we do with it and what you do with it.
Yeah.
Let me know. All right. Thanks so much for joining me, Josh.
Yeah, cheers.
Thank you so much for joining us. Again, ask those questions. Let us know. Check out the website. I will see you next time. Have a great one.
Yeah.